good to go. I'll call the meeting to order and we'll have the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of members.
Trustee Trombley.
Here.
Trustee Malinsky.
Here.
Trustee Hurbaugh.
Here.
Mayor McFetrich.
Here. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the previous meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any corrections? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Presentation of petitions.
You have two meetings. You have May 12th
Oh
and
shoot,
then
I don't have those with me, but yes, you're
May
right,
12th
we
and
do.
May 28th.
Okay, so that motion was for the May 12th.
Yeah.
May I have a motion to approve the minutes from May what was it?
28th,
28th,
special meeting.
special meeting?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry about that.
Opposed? Abstentions? One abstention.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Thank you for reminding me about that.
I forgot about that.
Presentation of petitions, communications, and general question period for members of the community. As we have no members from the community, we'll do away with that, but we do have a speaker, and even though she is under new business further down in the agenda, I think just to save you some time, if you don't mind, I'll move you right up to now, and you can talk to us about climate smart communities.
Yeah.
Introduce yourself and tell us about it.
Hi, I'm Carly. I work at the Adirondack North Country Association. We're a nonprofit that serves mostly the 7 northernmost counties of this state, at least our clean energy program does. And we help administer several different state programs, one of those being the Climate Smart Communities program, but also the Clean Energy Communities program, which you guys have participated in quite heavily, right?
Yes.
You even got some grants out of that?
Yes, we got several grants out of that.
Yeah. So this is like the sister to that program. This one is through DEC mainly. It's an interagency program, but DEC pretty much runs it. Clean Energy Communities is through NYSERDA. The good part about them being separate is that they have different funding sources and different structures. So the Clean Energy Communities program that you guys have already participated in is very municipally focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And because they have a different funding structure, they were able to offer points-based grants. So as you did actions and you earned points, you got grants. That's what made that program so wonderful. This program is a little different. It has a wider community focus to it. Unfortunately, there's not the point-based grants. It's you complete different actions, you get certified or not. So it's like all at once, you submit an application of all the things you've done, which from my talks with Janet is a lot of stuff that would qualify already. So you guys are probably very close to being certified if that's something you choose to pursue. Certification doesn't get you anything in particular, if I'm being straightforward and honest. But it does help get you additional points on other state grant applications. That's like one of the big bonuses of it. So I don't know all of the grants that you get bonus points on because they're changing those every year, but it can really help push you over the edge sometimes on qualifying for different funding sources. It's also some really great bragging rights, and it also can help create a structure to help keep these community climate focused actions going forward. So the main point of, or the main structure of the program is that you will have a Climate Smart Communities Task Force, which would just be a committee of people. We'd need at least one municipal representative, so whether that's one of you or a staff member that wants to participate, and then we'd also need some community members because this program has a much bigger community focus. The projects are still municipally driven, and especially if it's something focused on buildings or whatnot, it would be municipal buildings, but there also is a much wider focus on how we can educate the public, get them involved in what's going on, and do some more community-based efforts to make the community more resilient to climate change. Excuse me. So once you have this task force going of volunteers, you have to meet 2 times a year, which is really not a lot. Some communities meet once a month, Some communities just meet whenever they want, whatever works for you guys. And I'll stop there. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, I'll keep going then. So, the actions range there's a huge range of actions. There's these 10 pledge elements, which are part of the resolution. I don't know if you have that tonight, or if that's
I
something.
do not, because the board hasn't heard any of this.
No, that is totally great. So there's these 10 pledge elements. They range in things from, one of them is building a climate community, which is focused on the task force and the coordinator, and partnering with other organizations, which you guys have already done, by working with INCA and your work with River Valley on the composting project, the food scraps collection. There's actions focused on reducing energy use, updating zoning codes, which I don't know when the last time you guys all did that, but that's a huge undertaking. So, but if
Yeah.
you've already done it, it's a great way to get some points. There's also focuses on education and outreach, community-based events, biking and walking trails, just kind of anything and everything that's focused on creating a more resilient community. The best part about this program, compared to the Clean Energy Communities program, is that this one is quite flexible. So there's over 130 actions. To get certified, communities are usually submitting for about 20. So out of that 130, you really get to pick and choose which ones work for you, aside from the 2 mandatory actions, which includes that task force I spoke about, and then appointing the coordinator to that committee. But other than that, it's really flexible. And then most of the actions within the program are also really flexible, and then that's where I step in, is that my job is to help you figure out how these actions or programs you're already doing, how we can bring them together. So if you're already working on something, how can we get points for that? Or if there's an action you're interested in undertaking, how do we make it work for the village of Champlain? Because what works here is not really what's gonna work in the city of Albany, right? And we have several other communities across the North Country that are either pursuing certification or have just gotten certified. We just had another village get certified. I can't say what because it's not public knowledge yet and we are being recorded. But we did just have another small village get certified in this program, so it is very doable, and they did it quite quickly. Talking a lot about certification, that's also not a requirement of passing this pledge. This is a completely voluntary program. If you guys pass the pledge, you form the task force, you do some actions, and then you decide it's not a good fit for you, you can stop. Obviously, we want you to keep going. But there's nobody from the state is gonna come down and be like, you passed this pledge, you have to do X, Y, Z. We have communities that have passed the pledge and never did anything with it after. Not ideal, but it does happen, especially if the program's not working or you have other priorities that come up. There's also not any particular deadlines for this program either. They do have, they have 4 times a year where they review applications, I think. But other than that, it's really what works for you. So for some communities, a few months they put a lot of effort into it, and then another, big capital project's coming up, or they have, one of their streets needs to be repaired and all the focus is going there. It really can be what works for all of you. And I think that's the main gist of it. Was there anything we talked about that you wanted me to bring up?
I don't think so. You mentioned the comp plan as part of one of.
The comp plan?
Yeah.
Because you guys are working on that right now.
We're working on that now.
Yeah, so we can kind of roll through some of the things that we talked about that will already qualify for points. Pretty much all the CEC actions, so the Clean Energy Communities program that you guys already did,
Mm-hmm.
almost all of those transfer over to the Climate Smart Communities program. I don't have all of yours memorized because you guys worked with Nancy, so I don't remember all the ones you guys did for Clean Energy Communities, but that will get you a ways. Your Tree City, your food scraps collection, comprehensive plan, your EV charger. What else did we talk about when I came last
I'm
year?
trying to remember.
I know, I feel like we ran through a bunch of them.
There were quite a few.
Do you have any?
Now, what about the rec trail? Does that qualify for anything?
I don't know.
The what?
They have a rec trail. We have a rec trail that goes through the village, goes all the way to Rouse's Point.
That would, yes. because especially if it's a connector trail.
It's a connector.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
so
walking or biking, yeah.
yeah, so that's another big focus of this program
Mhm.
is on community-based connection. So they don't usually award points for recreation trails, but that to me sounds like a connector trail because it's connecting two villages, especially if somebody lives in one village but works in the other, vice
Yeah.
versa.
Mhm.
So yes, that would count. Yeah.
Thought I'd ask.
No, this is why we come in person because then people are always like,
Yeah.
oh, what about this? What about that?
Mhm.
Lots of different things.
The community garden?
The community garden, we can find points for it. That's what I'm here
That's
to do
what
too.
you mean by being somewhat flexible.
Yeah, like the community, they don't award specific points for having a community garden, which I think they should. But there are other like community-based events that we can get points for, and we can like shift the community garden onto that.
Mm-hmm. Education pieces
Yes, yeah, education and outreach.
and the farmer's market.
Farmers market, you guys have one?
We do.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, the farmers market counts. And so the other part of this program too is that partnerships, you can still get points for those things. So even if you guys, as an example, some communities, they don't necessarily run the farmers market, but they let it happen on a municipal park, you can still get points for that. So even if you guys aren't necessarily running the event, but you are contributing time, money, land, or like building use, things like that, we can get points for those as well. Yeah.
What's the board think? I can bring the resolution to the next meeting if the board's interested. I didn't bring it to this one because I didn't wanna put any pressure on anyone to think we
Or
had
you
to.
could email it and
Pass
everybody
something.
can look at it before the next meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's not costing us anything.
no,
No,
and
not at
it's-
all.
It's directing us kind of in the way that we're going anyway, in terms of being environmentally friendly and green and.
And a lot of these things we're already doing,
Yeah.
so.
And that's like you're getting recognition for things you're already doing. And you'll also get, I guess I didn't really run through this. I also can help you with some of the more technical aspects as well if you want to pursue, for instance, a greenhouse gas inventory. So if you want to look at the energy use of the village across the buildings and the vehicles and all of that, I can help you, like I would do that for you guys. If you wanted to pursue doing a natural resources inventory, which for villages is sometimes useful, sometimes not, if it's a little landmass. But just as an example, if you wanted to do a natural resources inventory, I could help you with that. Or a climate vulnerability assessment, looking at which parts of the village are more vulnerable to flooding or to extreme heat or whatever it may be. I can help you work through those projects.
Well, that's a real benefit right there.
Yeah, yeah, you're kind of getting. Listen, I can't do all of the big planning documents,
We
but
can't just get an office for you and maybe work here with us.
but sometimes people are hiring consultants for stuff that we can do for free.
Okay.
Not like I said, I'm not going to be updating your zoning code or anything like that. I don't have those qualifications, but I can help you with some of the other planning documents if you want to pursue those.
Yeah, our zoning code wasn't updated that well.
Well, there will be changes in zoning after the comp plan is
Yeah.
finalized because it's clear that some of our zoning needs to be changed, particularly relating to housing. Just to be able to encourage more housing here,
Yeah.
but we
You're
did
already a
change the
pro
down.
housing.
What's that?
You're already a pro housing community.
Yes, we are a pro-housing community, yeah. We did update the zoning downtown,
Yes.
Oh, the LED streetlights, I think we talked about.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's definitely points as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. And so the next steps, if you guys want to pursue it, is passing this resolution. You can make amendments to it, but they have a pretty good template that you can just put your names on if you guys are okay with that. We'll register you as a climate smart community, that you're registered. And then from there, we'll have to form this task force, this group of people that are going to help work on these projects. they're gonna be most helpful with, if there's anyone who is more on the tech savvy side and wants to help with actually uploading the documentation into the portal and whatnot, I can also help with that too, but having somebody who, is interested and wants to is also really great. Education and outreach, and also just helping drive some of these projects forward, doing some background research. We have one task force member who even writes grants for his community, but he's a little bit of a superstar. It's not the most typical of members. But so if you guys have anybody in mind and you want to ask around, again, there's no specific timeline for this. It's whatever works for all of you.
Sounds good.
It does.
I will find the template for that resolution and I will email it to all of you.
Okay.
Get your input. All right. Thanks, Carly.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
This is probably the easiest board presentation I've done. Usually get a lot more questions. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
of course. Anytime.
Okay. I'll be in touch.
All right, sounds
All right.
good. Have a great night, you
Thank
guys.
Too.
Thank you. I copied the code enforcement officer report. I did it back to back, I think, and I don't know if it's flipping the right way.
It is.
Okay.
There's a lot for us this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I know, it's too bad that he just kinda can't,
You can't pull it out, he
I
said.
know, I'm sure there's a reason why.
Yeah.
Must be just the way the,
You can see most of the village ones are grass.
grass. There's a lot of people that don't have a lawnmower.
Well, in between
That
the
was
rain,
one for
it
a
was a
while.
little tricky to get it
Yeah.
mowed.
Well, I'm sure that some of these are repeat offenders.
Always.
So you will see anything that you want brought up to him.
There's no more May.
Oh, yeah, that's true, and he mentioned that no mow May.
They say that that's really not, it's really not conducive to your lawn to leave it like that.
There wasn't many dandelions.
Pretty hard to
so-
mow it if you've had the rain we had. I mean, it's like 10 inches tall by the end of May.
Yeah. So when I see manual applicant, does that mean that someone's applying for a permit of some sort?
It's when they don't apply online and they do a paper copy, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Is that correct, Mary?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
so he puts it in.
yeah, and then
Gotcha.
he puts it in and, I mean, there are a lot of people that don't have easy access or don't understand how to do it.
Yeah, I just didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Anything you want me to share with Chris?
No, it's a good report.
Yeah, he's certainly is busy. All right, here's my report. Get to it. Welcome to the Village of Champlain June board meeting. It looks like summer is finally here, at least it was when I wrote this, and with it some enjoyable weather. Many of you will want to have a campfire in your yards. I remind you that these are allowed now with certain safety requirements. The application is available at the office or online. If you registered last year, you can submit the form and write no changes on it. Many of you have probably noticed the construction in French Village on Main Street, Route 9, is back on. This is the final push for the water line replacement project, which began last year. It is expected to be completed in mid to late July. Meanwhile, I ask you to drive slowly as you pass through that area to keep the workers safe. We were very excited to kick off the food scrap collection program last week. Champlain Village and the town of Champlain are currently the only municipalities in Clinton County offering this service. Participation has been excellent, and there is still time to pick up a collection bucket and sign up for the program. There is no cost to local residents. The second visioning workshop for the comprehensive plan was very informative, and I thank all who attended. We received some good input as to where residents see the village and town heading, including adding housing, increased trails for cycling and walking, encouraging more small businesses, and examining needed changes to our zoning laws. I will continue to keep you informed about this important process. The first Champlain Village Arts Festival was very successful. The concert by the co-conspirators out of Hanningford was very well attended and greatly appreciated.
Bless you.
Bless you. On Saturday, the Square Foot Art Show drew many people who enjoyed seeing the works of local artists of all ages. And on Sunday, a small group heard a wide variety of poetry. I want to thank Jen Mallory, who opened her studio downtown to people who wanted to see an artist at work. Such a wonderful opportunity to see part of that process. And I also want to thank Nikki Malinsky, right next to me, for all her work on the on all of the events, but in particular the art show. She did a lion's share of that work. As for my involvement in local, regional, and county happenings, just to keep you all updated, these are the things that I attended last month. I attended the Northern Tier Housing Annual Meeting. I participated in the Lake Champlain Sea Grant boat trip on Lake Champlain, learning more about our lake. I gave a presentation at St. Joseph's Outreach Center, focusing on local agencies and how we can collaborate. I participated in Narcan training. I was at the kickoff for the fitness court at the new Bob Van Park. Huge congrats to the town on the development of this park. This is going to be such an asset to our community. I met with Carly Leary, who was just speaking here, to learn more about the Climate Smart Community Program offered by New York State. I participated in the Zoom meeting for the Waterline Replacement Project and attended the JCEO Volunteer Celebration Dinner. I also attended the annual St. Mary's Parade and Bazaar. Congrats to that committee for another fantastic community event. They always do such a good job. And I had the pleasure of performing a wedding, which I'm always happy to do. I will continue to do my best to represent the village of Champlain wherever and whenever I can. Thank you for inviting me to these events. All right. Committee reports, I don't know if we have anything. Let me just quickly go through that list of the committees. Just say something if your committee has anything. Water, sewer, Ken, anything you want to add?
No, not right now. Be glad when that project's done.
Yeah, it's coming.
And I haven't seen Mike and I didn't think to email him on this, but any idea when those pipes are gonna go in the ground at the sewer plant?
Oh, well, he did talk about it and what he has to do prior to that, but until this water line thing is done in the next month, I don't
Okay.
think there'd be any time for that.
Okay.
Streets, sidewalk. did you get a response? You sent an email.
I did, and the streets that, I mentioned, he said that, yes, those were ones he would like to finish downtown, and, I'd have to pull up his email. And Oak Street's, I don't think in any near future.
Okay, so. Equipment tool commissioner, that's Chuck and Joel. Anything on that, Joel?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay,
I do, yeah. Do what we can to keep our equipment lasting longer.
yes, yes, back to the routine maintenance,
Yeah, I'll do some digging, I want to do some digging into we'll get to it, but the vacant registry, or
Yeah.
the housing registry.
yep, yep, that would be a good conversation with, Chris. Building property, Joel and Nikki,
That same thing,
Yeah.
okay,
the registry.
okay,
I just wanna follow up and see where we're at with that.
okay. Parks,
Do I have an idea?
again, you know, right now it's a matter of time, talking about that new little park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did level as much as they could.
They
but-
leveled it, and Mike said they need more dirt. It's not high enough yet, because of there's a sunken building there, it's going to compact. So they need more dirt. Okay. And then the planning board, that's Chuck. There was a planning board meeting. Is there a planning, there was a
Was it last
planning board,
month? We had it with, it was just the amendments to the Cotton Lane project,
yeah,
which was.
yes, so what's called Project Violet.
Yeah.
Just so the public knows a little bit, has been reduced in size, I guess put in stages. So the planning board approved that change in size, reduced size a little bit. There have been no zoning board meetings, Champlain Fire District, I can talk about that a little bit later in the agenda. And Recreation Committee,
I don't have anything on our plate right now.
yeah, that's all right. Okay, thank you, everyone. Now, reports from the trustees. Kim?
So I have not gotten the tax roll from Tim yet. He was going to have someone send it to me so that we can try to make the water board, report, the EDU report section of it maybe easier, not so time consuming, but I haven't gotten that from him yet,
Okay.
so. But it is the time of year now that starts, once school is out, that'll be my main focus to
Mhm.
get, last year I think I got the report out in August. I would like to shoot for that again. So we'll see how that goes. One other thing that, I've noticed, and if we could get the guys to take care of it, I'm guessing it wasn't vandalism, but the basketball hoop, the portable one that we purchased, was down on the ground one day. It's when we had that horrific wind, so I'm thinking the wind took it over.
You're correct. Yeah, the one
And
took it
so if
over.
we could, maybe it's still under warranty, could we get a new basket, or can we get the guys to,
Hammer it out.
you can't play basketball like that.
No.
And I know there hasn't been a lot of activities down there because of the rain, but we do have a little stretch of dry weather coming up, so.
I will ask them to see if they can straighten that out. I noticed that too, and I actually saw it fall at least once with the wind.
And I'm assuming that's when it,
Yeah,
Got
it just went
Yeah.
boom, right on it.
yeah, and I'm
Is there a way
surprised.
to anchor that down?
Yeah, I wonder if we could tie it to the fence or something.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, maybe we need to put a chain on it.
Is that the one that the base can be filled with
Yeah.
sand,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
water?
But I thought it was filled.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It should-
I'm not
should
sure
be.
either, I would,
It wouldn't
Do you-
stand if.
Do you think it would be worth a phone call? Where did we purchase that from? I don't even remember. Was it off Amazon?
Was that,
Okay,
wasn't through Tractor Supply?
because it might be,
It was one through Tractor
It
Supply.
might have been tractors.
cause I know I sent you a bunch of information, but it might be worth trying to find
Checking.
out if we could get, if the guys can't fix it,
Just the hoop.
just replacing the hoop.
Okay.
yeah, well, we'll have them look at that. Anything else?
Oh, okay. So, I'm reading through Mike's report,
Uh-huh,
and I can bring this up if you want after.
I can do it right now, that's
Okay.
fine.
So I'm looking at, when he's talking about the water line replacement and the project inspector has resigned.
Mhm.
I didn't think that he was able to do that. I thought there was I don't have a problem with him doing it. I just thought that there was some.
Well, so, this is my understanding for this final push.
Okay.
Yes, that inspector did resign.
Mhm,
There, Mike really has to be there to shoot all the points
mhm,
into the system, the mapping system, so he's there anyway. So unofficially, he is like an inspector, but it's not that he's been assigned as inspector, that's my understanding.
okay, cause the way he's got it,
Yeah.
he was asked to take over as
Yeah.
inspector, so I remember.
Well, he is there, but he's not using his comp time.
No, I'm not even concerned about that. I just remember there was something about him legally not being able to do it. I can't, do you remember this,
There was
Nikki,
something,
from like a year ago or so?
I thought the question before was whether or not he could use comp time to perform that job
I think
during
that
the
was
day.
The start of the conversation.
But then I
think
thought it
something else
turned,
came up at the end.
yeah, cause the comp time, I'm not even interested in that portion of it. I just wanna be sure that we legally
Mhm.
don't get in a sling
Okay,
about it. Because I can't remember what it was, but obviously I'm remembering
There was
something, if
something,
Nikki,
yes.
you are too.
No, I do, also remember that.
I just,
I think, it could be wrong, but I thought we talked to the lawyer, and I think that he suggested that the whole point of an inspector was to make sure that there was a third party outside of
and that,
the
that
village,
could be
so
it.
that if the person who is representing the village is also the inspector, that it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, something.
I also would rather just get the thing over with and.
Right.
no,
I
I
just-
remember that too, but
I just
don't-
worry about the legality,
I do
that's all.
not believe he has been named inspector
Okay.
by the engineers.
Okay.
He's there and he's shooting his points and he's giving the guidance he always does.
Right,
But I don't think he's been labeled as inspector of the project.
okay.
But I'll verify that, because you are right, I do remember that now too. We were told
And then,
by an ICOM lawyer that we couldn't do that.
Yeah, and that's why the red flag went off in my head when I saw that, and I'm like, oh, well, I need to ask about that.
Okay, I'll ask him.
Thank you.
I will ask him, all right, thank you. Nikki?
Not much. I did attend the ceremony at the town park. And I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Really
It's
excited.
very exciting.
So yeah, they haven't put in the driveway yet. They said they were gonna start that, but that hasn't been done. I know the field was being worked on, the
Mm.
Cool.
culvert, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was being done. But yeah, once that parking lot is put in there, that'll be so much easier to get to,
Yeah.
you know, the different opportunity in the park. I look forward to the pickleball court, cause every time we go to Russell's Point, there's someone playing basketball and it's just, it seems too small of a space.
Mm.
And another basketball court will be put up in the exercise station, so.
Yeah,
It's gonna be exciting.
It's really a big deal.
They've done a really good job
Yeah,
with this whole planning.
yeah,
Mhm.
You know.
it's huge.
So congratulations to the town. Janet, thank you for the idea for the Arts Festival weekend. It went off really well. Yeah, even though I didn't attend the concert, it looked like that was a pretty packed house.
Wow.
So that was great.
Yeah, a lot of people there.
In the art show, I was shocked that it went so well. We had a lot of paintings, and Cora was my little helper for that day, and she did a great job decorating.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cora.
Yep. And then, yeah, our small get-together Sunday, the library, was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll try to pull in some more people for poetry another time, or maybe short story or something.
Yeah.
We'll plan something in the future.
And it was nice to use the library.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, library is always open for anything, so definitely.
Yeah. Joel?
I have nothing to report.
All right. Let's see, report from the clerk treasurer.
Okay, everyone has their expense and revenue report, for May, which is also our end of year. We didn't have a lot left over.
You budgeted it just right.
Great job, Bonita.
We really were pretty on. Does anyone have questions on that part?
No.
We had a water and sewer billing. Water was $72,283.95, and sewer was $81,412.32.
Okay.
We have additional invoices for the warrant. Additional invoices are $1,558.12 for a total warrant of $19,469.91.
Is there a motion to approve the warrant with the additional invoices?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
How about questions? Anyone have any questions? Discussion?
The light bills seem like they're just going up and up. You know?
Oh, you don't have to tell us that, we know this.
Mm-hmm.
All is fine. I know. Yeah, so,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. No other questions or comments? Roll call?
Trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Malinsky,
Hi.
trustee Herzog,
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Excuse me.
Do you need water, Kim?
No, I'm good, thank you. It's all the smoke.
Okay, I didn't copy this for everybody, but I do have two invoices. I have one for the water project for Barton and La Judas, for the water line replacement for $285. And I have one for the wastewater treatment, disinfectant improvements for $570 for Barton and La Judas.
575, you said?
570. They're so little. but-
Yeah, right, okay. So we need a motion to approve this for the water project of 285.
Yep, the water project is $285.
So moved.
In a second,
Second.
any questions? Roll call?
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Malinsky.
Hi.
Trustee Herzog.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
And a motion to approve the wastewater project expenses of 570.
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All right, any questions? Roll call?
Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Malinsky.
Hi.
Trustee Herzog.
Aye.
Mayor McFetrich.
Aye. All right, thanks Juanita, nice to see you back.
Yes.
Report from the superintendent. You have Mike's report. A lot of focus is on the water line replacement project. As we talked about, I will get answers to that one question about the inspector.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry to disturb you, but I need some help because I tried to import some pectin in Canada, and I need a permit that I don't have. So basically now I have some stock I cannot bring back. I need to leave somewhere.
And what is it?
Pectin for jam.
Oh, pectin, yes, pectin.
I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry.
No,
Oh, no, that's fine,
That's the way
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
pronounced.
That's fine, it is, you said it right.
How much
I
do you
think
have?
it's not quite there, but.
C'était bon, c'était bon.
No,
Wait.
merci. So yeah, so
How much
in order
do
to-
you
How
have?
much?
60 pounds.
60 pallets?
Pounds.
Pounds.
Like, where are we gonna put 60 pallets?
No.
Could Julie take it? Would JCEO take it?
I don't know.
But are
I
you
think they
looking
would
for
use
just a
that.
place to store it until you get permits?
Apparently I need this permit, and apparently it takes 15 days to get it, so, yeah,
Oh.
So you will come back to get it?
yeah.
Or you need just a place to store it?
Yeah, because I would have taken it back in Canada, but obviously I can't deny that. And the place I got it from, the border mail depot, they're closed, so
Oh, right, so you're stuck.
I'd rather go back home and come back in 15 days to get the stuff.
Gosh. Is there any room in the garage? I don't know.
Probably. we could-
I don't know. I'm not really sure.
How big is it?
2 boxes with a 51 and a 10 pound.
Okay. How long do you need to have it held for?
I said in the website it says 15 days to get a permit.
And you're gonna get it?
Yeah,
You're gonna come pick it up? Alright, if you leave it outside, I'll get it and I'll put it somewhere.
okay,
You have a phone number?
sure.
Here, how about you write down your phone number and I'll get in touch with you. You put your phone number here and I'll get in touch with you and I can arrange picking it up. Perfect. Alright, I'll send you a text and I'll figure it out. If you leave it out here, I can put it in my trunk and,
Sure, thank you. So
Yeah.
out is outside or?
yeah, right outside the door is fine.
Okay, thank you so much.
You got it, no
And your
problem.
name is?
Joel.
Thanks,
Nice to meet
Joel.
you. Thank you. Good luck, sorry.
Yeah,
Bonne chance.
merci.
Oui, Dominique. Thank you, Joe.
Never know.
Yeah.
Helping the neighbors.
Yeah.
We could bring it in here too, couldn't we?
Yeah, we'll figure,
You got a
we'll
spot.
figure it
Helping
out.
neighbors.
So
Yeah,
nobody
there you
goes
go.
by and thinks there's free
Neighbors
food
helping
out
neighbors.
there.
Yeah, yeah, you'd hate to see somebody
Oh, you could put it here.
put it right here, it's
It-
out of
yeah,
the
it's
way.
just a couple small
Okay,
boxes.
let's
Okay,
finish our
I'm
meeting
gonna-
first.
I'm gonna
Okay,
bring
sorry.
it back. So we're on Mike's, the superintendent's report. They've been working a lot on the streets. They cut down some trees, did a lot of brush cutting. He went around with Brittany from Soil and Water to, look at the ash trees because those will be removed once the funds have been released. There's some problem at the grit pump, so there's a couple of issues at the sewer plant they're working on, and then the 2010 Peterbilt had an issue, and that's been repaired, but now there's a light on, so it's back in the shop, so that's
No, that's the other one.
the 21 is
Yeah.
went to the shop and they got it back, but there's an engine light and that has to go back. And as I said earlier, the 22 Ford is at the dealership and Mike has a loaner.
So they completely have to tear the motor down and?
Yes,
And he's got a brand new truck to
yeah. And he has a brand new truck to drive, but that truck is not very old.
I'm looking at that going, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything you want me to share with Mike, other than that one question?
Is that Ford still have some kind of warranty on it?
I'm sure it must.
I believe so.
I hope so, because,
You know, so many miles, so many, you know.
right, because from the sounds of that, that's gonna be very expensive.
Yeah.
So I hope it's got some warranty.
How many trees have to come
I believe he said in the village there were around 40.
Wow.
Mhm.
It's a lot of trees.
Was it taken down, why?
They're dead or
Ash.
dying
Because
from
of
the
the
ash
ash.
borer.
And are they on village property or?
Or
Private.
village right away, or in danger of falling on something, yeah.
Do they have any idea when the funds will be released?
Hopefully this summer, and the work would be in the fall.
Because all of those tree people are gonna be really busy doing this in other communities as well.
But they bring in that big equipment that grabs the trees
Oh,
and yanks
yeah.
them out, and then they grind everything up, and so it's a huge operation.
Oh, yeah.
All right, correspondence, there is none. New business, climate smart community, we already heard Carly's report, and I will send you that resolution. Copy and fax fees. Mary gathered some great information about what we might charge for people requesting black and white copies and color copies, and then the cost for faxes. I don't know, Mary, do you wanna weigh in on this a little bit?
Yeah, we've just had regularly have people coming in here looking for copies, making
Mhm,
copies,
yeah.
and sometimes faxing things, and
And it's
we
like,
usually go ahead and do it without too many problems, but sometimes it
It's
gets to be a
repeat.
little,
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and
Right.
it takes time, and we're using our paper, our ink,
Mhm.
our time, and the cost of the faxes that go out.
because, yeah, they tell us that they used to go to Kinney's, and now Kinney's
I
doesn't
was-
do it anymore, so,
That's what I
you know.
was gonna
Yeah.
So if they're
say.
gonna come in here, I mean, they would pay if they went to Kinney's, so
Exactly.
we started discussing it, and I said, we should start charging.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
I
don't
mean,
think,
it's not a lot of money, but
I don't think
it's-
these charges are,
yeah, I went through FedEx, Home Depot, Staples, UPS, and the Postal Service, and these are kind of the minimum of the average of those.
Mhm.
No one paid to charge more than 25 cents for the copies. Color copies were between 50 cents and $1. And faxes were between $1 and $1.89, so.
no, I think it's a good
kinda
idea.
gotta- Not, we don't need to, make a profit, but we should at least
Yeah,
recoup some of
right,
the time
because
and our,
for your-
Yeah,
It's a good service to,
yeah,
yeah.
and it
Yeah.
is a good service to provide.
Mm.
Because I have had some people that have come in several times, and you're like, taxes for me,
Mhm.
kind of like,
Okay.
yeah. Mhm.
And expected,
Yeah,
Service.
exactly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah.
You can post, I
That
mean,
might
I can
not-
post it on
this might
here,
not solve that problem.
what our rates are, that we do
Yeah,
provide that,
exactly.
and what our
Yeah.
rates are to do that.
No, I don't think it's, I'm sure there's a lot of municipalities that are,
Well, yeah,
That are
because it says,
already
yeah,
doing
that you
that.
can, yeah.
So do we need a motion to approve this? Or
Mm, I
just,
don't think so.
just accept it as this is, this will be our policy, and we'll review it maybe yearly,
Yeah.
determine if the
Sounds good.
fees are appropriate.
Mhm.
Okay, great. And we'll put this on our website. Okay, purchase of the fire station, so all I really have to say is that, Chris Trombley, wrote a letter to the lawyer asking, some input of some various options. He has not heard back from him, but one of the things that he did mention that I hadn't really thought about before was the idea of, whether or not they are allowed to lease that building. And so he doesn't have an answer to that question, but it did get me to thinking that that's something we've never talked about either. So if that were a possibility, that might be something that we might consider. So I just wanted to mention it to you now as a possible option, depending on what the lawyer says, whether or not they have to sell it, or if they'd be allowed to lease it.
yeah, it's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, for us, if we were allowed to lease it for a year and see how well it really did work for us, that might be a really good opportunity. So, I'll let you know. what Chris finds out about that.
Okay.
The Knox Box local law, I gave you a copy of one that I found, not really to discuss it in any depth, but just to start with some of the ways other places handle this. Some areas say it's as required by the fire code marshal, but this one in the town of Oswego I thought was interesting because they talk about commercial buildings that have a sprinkler system and other kinds of new construction, all things that we might consider once we do our local law. I am waiting to see what the town does because I think we can probably tailor ours to theirs pretty closely. And I have not heard yet who, what they've decided. But I wanted to give you something to look over, so if there are parts that you think would be like really good in ours, let me know.
Okay.
And then the last thing under old business is the .gov website. As what you know, it's not required for municipalities with population under 1,500. We're at 1,300 right now, so we're close. But it is recommended. Mary and I have talked about it a lot. There are certain things we're supposed to have on our website anyway. But, and Mary, you can add to this. I think we need to head towards getting it. I think it's safer, more secure. But I have no idea what the cost will be to develop it and to run it. So Mary talked about Twin States and Champlain, or Layer 8.
Layer 8.
Maybe we could get some quotes.
Yep.
Oh, I should add that currently the woman that we have working on our website, which is pretty basic, is not interested in doing this, so she's already let us know that.
Okay.
She said she would maintain what we have until we switched over, but wasn't well versed on that .gov and wasn't really gonna delve into that.
So who would be responsible, you and Anita?
Well, we would have to find,
Yeah, because the
One of
local
these seven.
officials should consult with their IT staff,
yeah,
so that would be Twin Cities.
yeah. And that would, it says, I mean, in the webinar, both Jen and I looked at it, it's looking at who needs to be at the table. The CEO, which would be Janet, legislative body, which would be the board, clerk, attorney, tech support, and website developer.
Well,
So we're all at the table, but we need to find the tech person.
I still do have these two other organizations that reached out just previous to our last meeting that do this type of thing. And I could also ask them for quotes as well.
Okay.
To see if they can look at what we have and what we need to do, and if there's any, if they can offer some kind of a quote for that as well.
Yeah, that's what I think we should do is get some quotes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
And-
Twin State is local, more local, and so is Layer 8. So we definitely want to hear from them as well.
Yeah, even though it's not an absolute requirement, I think we need to head in that direction and get this done. You know, we can proceed slowly, but I think we really need to get this done.
Yeah, he did, Wade on the webinar did say, highly recommended if you already have a website of yours that you should migrate, whether you're below or above the 1,500, you should migrate to the .gov one.
okay.
So everyone okay with Mary getting some quotes for our
Yes.
next meeting
Yes.
on this? All right, thank you, Mary. All right, anything else? No? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That motion carries.